What's cracking, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and as always, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. It's your boy Matty B, and today we're going to preview the final round of Pro Motocross that'll be going down this weekend at Budds Creek in Maryland. We will be in attendance, no choice, but today we'll get into a few hot topics in the sport. And to start off, I kind of got no choice but to get into Jorge Prado. Who the hell's been riding this guy's bike? Is it Jorge? Is it George? Is he even trying? Is he going to go to KTM? And then we'll talk Ken Roxson. He returned to racing at Unadilla, and he's got a new deal on the table for 2026. But rumor has it, depending on what happens with Prado, he could have multiple options. Then we'll talk Hayden Deegan. Couldn't quite get the championship done at Unadilla, and I've seen some hilarious conspiracies as to why that may not have happened. And of course, we got to give props to the guy that laid the wood to Deegan, Wasabi Joe Sushi Shimoda. And then last weekend, I think we had quite possibly the worst pro debut from a factory rider we've ever seen, but we'll also get into why I think he'll bounce back and still be a good pro. We've got some silly season news from some of the B-level teams, as well as some international riders wanting to stay here in the States and throwing themselves into the conversation. Fish and chips, baby. As long as the entry list isn't lying to us, we're going to finally get Max Anstie back in the mix at Budds Creek. And then continuing with our Budds Creek preview, calling all gamers, there's an opportunity to win cold hard cash on Friday at Budds Creek just by putting down a heater on MX bikes. And then this is a fun new dynamic that we've only had for the last couple of years. Massive battles to try to get into the top 20 in the Super Motocross World Championship playoff points. And last but not least, a track preview and predictions are always in the contract. I've got some GoPro footage from the 2023 National, and I'll let you guys in on a little project I'm working on. For Throwback Thursday tomorrow, I'm going to bring you guys behind the scenes and give you all the info I can on when I stayed for Amateur Day and got to race against Hayden Deegan. Honestly, it's a wild story, and I will literally tell you guys everything. There are even some details I'm minorly reluctant to share, but screw it, no choice. But that'll be tomorrow. The rest of the topics are for today, and before I get into them, I got to give a huge thank you and a shout out to my channel sponsors. Thank you to ASV Inventions, and thank you to Sirius Studio. I have links and discount codes in my description, and if you're supporting them, you're supporting me. Also, I'm doing a bike waffle for my 2022 YZ252 stroke, the same bike from the Deegan race. You can win that rig for $100, and all the info is in my description. Let's get into today's video. Alright, first up, Jorge Prado. What the hell is even going on? I am actually almost lost for words at this point. I got the privilege of being trackside at Unadilla, so I got to see all the action up close, and in qualifying, Jorge looked like he was barking. He was throwing down fast laps, he looked comfy, and being that Unadilla tends to suit the Euros, I thought we were in for a good day. But in Moto 1, a great start and got shuffled back crazy quick, and he's a two-time world champion, so while I do expect him to be able to run with the top guys, I'm not really going to freak out if he gets dropped by Jet, Hunter, and Tomac. But what I do think is out of control is he not only gets passed by those guys, but he keeps on going further and further back, and he ended up Moto 1 in 15th. And when talking about a rider of this caliber, you just cannot convince me that the dude goes straight up from 2nd to 15th while trying his hardest. And on top of that, I saw it myself firsthand. The dude was just out there cruising, taking his hand off the bars, looking around, and it could not have been any more evident that the effort was not where it needed to be. And to me, the worst part of it all is he never seems to take any blame for himself. From what I hear, he has a huge house, but it has no mirrors in it. And if you still don't believe me, just look at the lap times. From 2:23s early, all the way down to 2:32s and a 2:33 at the end. There's no chance the dude is in that bad a shape. I know he's not comfortable, I know he doesn't like the bike, but part of that at this point has got to be on him. He's the one who tests it, and he's the one who makes the setup, and there's no way the bike is beating him up that bad to lose 10 seconds a lap. And to top it all off, Mitchell Harrison blew his doors off on a PRMX Kawasaki, which with all due respect is basically a Walmart bike compared to what Jorge's on. So yeah, you can't convince me otherwise. Jorge's a quitter. I know he doesn't care what I think, and he shouldn't, but I'm over the Jorge Prado experience. But we have new rumors circulating about a possible return to KTM for almost no salary and high bonuses, and there have even been some rumblings that he may not even finish the SMX series in 2025. So George, get on another bike, go back across the pond, just do something, man, because I can't watch this anymore. Next up, we'll jump into Ken Roxson, who returned to racing at Unadilla in a one-off national, off the couch, and man do I have the utmost respect for that. I did a national off the couch and got like 35th and I thought I was sick. This dude comes off the couch and is in the top 5. He was good in qualifying, good in Moto 1, he was great on press day, but unfortunately in Moto 2, the tongue started to get caught up in the spokes and he eventually pulled out due to cramps. And to all you clowns in the comments section, no, not period cramps. You guys have no idea how gnarly it is out there. What the hell could Kenny possibly gain by sticking it out and getting 8th place on a track that's sketchier than kindergarten artwork while he's dog tired and cramping into oblivion? Absolutely nothing. And as we just talked about with George, I don't really condone quitting, but the difference is Prado's contracted to race the outdoors and Kenny came off the couch for a one-off race for the hell of it. I think he's got a little more leeway, and even still, he looked like he tried way harder than Prado did. And then speaking of Prado, he and Ken Roxon's futures could possibly be connected. The turmoil between Prado and Cowie could not be any more obvious. And now rumor has it that Kawasaki has contacted Ken Roxon and asked about his services for 2026. And Kenny did also just receive his offer from HEP Suzuki last week. He hasn't signed it yet, but now he's got options. And I feel like Kenny fits the Suzuki really good. I think he should stay. But if he jumped over to Kawasaki and replaced Jorge Prado, in my opinion, that would be a hell of an upgrade. Next up, this is going to be a fun one, the Hayden Deegan Conspiracy National. I've seen some absolutely hilarious, mind-boggling stuff in the comments section. And let's just get right into it. The first one, and my favorite, was that the track crew watered the track way too much because they knew Hayden wouldn't send it, and they wanted the championship to go down to Budds Creek. Yeah, let's hedge our bets on Deegan not sending it. That was a good one. And then the other one, also a really good one, was that Hayden did not want to wrap up the title early because he was scared of Jet Lawrence and did not want to race the 450 at Budds Creek. And I don't know about you guys, but whether it's been justified or not, I don't think Deegan has been scared of a single thing since he turned pro. They kind of came out and said it wasn't going to happen before the championship did not get wrapped up. So by all means, guys, please keep them coming, but y'all are insane. In my opinion, Joe Shimoda was in his best form that I've ever seen on Saturday. The track was sketchy, Deegan didn't get the starts, and he's got a championship on the line. If I had to guess, he saw that there was a huge gap, he probably wasn't going to be able to run him down, and just ended up playing it safe. I'm not saying he could have won if he sent it. Joe was on rails. I just did not see the danger zone one time at Unadilla. Maybe this is a sign of maturity and a championship mindset as he's about to head to the 450 class. And then we got to talk about the guy that put the smackdown on him. 41 seconds in Moto 1, Wasabi Joe Sushi Shimoda. In my opinion, the best day we've ever seen out of him. And like I said, even if Deegan was sending it, I don't really know if he quite had it in the tank to take Joe down. And I know that's a bold statement, but I saw it trackside. Joe could not have been any more dialed in. The track suited his style perfectly. He was hop, skipping, and jumping around the entire track, and he could not have been any smoother or more efficient. And on the flip side, Deegan likes to send it. He's more of a smasher and just thrashes his way around the track. And Unadilla was sketch. I do not think it was a danger zone track, at least not with a championship on the line. That kind of track really rewarded the precision, throttle control, and smooth nature of Joe Shimoda, and he friggin' dominated. If not for Deegan, this would be your dominating champion. And with Deegan exiting the class in 2026, I'm thinking it's really looking good for Joe Shimoda to head into next year's Outdoor Championship as your favorite. And somehow, he's apparently still not signed for 2026. I'm thinking he stays at Honda. He's got a lot of good momentum, looks great on the bike. And I'm not sure if you guys heard my question in the press conference, but he's got a former pro national racer as his suspension tech. My boy Brandon Scherer has him dialed. And Wasabi Joe, I salute you. That was a beatdown. Oh man, this was not good. We had the final two 16-year-old rookies to ever make their pro motocross debut at Unadilla. And before we get to the bad and the ugly out of the same kid, we got to talk about the good. Huge shout out to Caden Dudney, the other 16-year-old rookie from Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha. 7th in Moto 1, was running top 5 for almost the entirety of Moto 2. He went down at the bottom of Screw You and threw away the top 5, but an amazing debut and likely a future champion. But back to the bad debut, Landon Gibson of Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. And this was a tough one. Really, there's no other way to put it other than it's unacceptable for a factory rider to not qualify, especially at an outdoor national. We've seen it in Supercross, rookies miss the main, but to miss the 40 rider field in an outdoor, I don't think that's anything we've ever seen before. And even I feel like I'm qualified to speak on this subject, because although I was 2 years older than Landon, I showed up to my first national in the back of a pickup truck with a 250F with a pipe on it, and we put it in the show. No choice, but a horrendous debut for Landon Gibson, and really, I don't think this debut is going to tell the story for him. The kid is an amazing talent, a great rider, in great shape, and had he gotten into the motos, he would have thrived in them, but qualifying fast laps are not his thing. Even at the amateur combines, he's always down the order in qualifying. But despite the disastrous debut, the beauty of racing is you wait 7 days and you get another opportunity. He'll be back for another try at Budds Creek, and I'm no betting man, but I'm predicting a bounce back. He at least puts it in the motos, and when he gets there, he's strong for 30+2, he picks off guys late and puts in some solid results. Next up, we got some silly season news for 2026 regarding a couple of the B-level teams, and I believe I caught this info in a Vital MX video, but first up, Lux Turner is headed to the Bar X Yamaha squad next year. And then we got Avery Long, who showed some good flashes in his rookie season. He has re-signed with the AEO Powersports KTM team. And then there's Hunter Yoder, currently riding for the PRMX Kawasaki squad. And I have no inside knowledge on this, but I heard Steve Mathis say that Hunter Yoder is headed to Club MX for 2026. And Daniel Blair's my boy. He told me they were between Yoder, Lux Turner, Parker Ross, and Avery Long. And two of those three I just mentioned have already signed. So read between the lines, we might see Yoder at Club MX. And then we got the Swiss Ripper, Valentin Guillot, who I heard took a flight back to Switzerland in the middle seat, in between motos at Unadilla. But there are some rumors going around of Valentin Guillot taking Hunter Yoder's vacated PRMX Kawasaki seat, and that would be cool. He's been crushing it, and I think he could be good at Supercross. And the more the freaking merrier. Stay in the States, Valentin. No choice. And then, moving on to previewing Budds Creek this weekend, when I looked at the entry list, there was only one new name, and that was Max Anstie in the 250 class. He won the 250 East Coast Opener, was great at the beginning of Supercross, but went out with injury, and it's been a while. We haven't heard from him since Nam. But if the entry list isn't lying to us, then Max is back. He's well out of range to get in the top 20 in the SMX playoff points, but I can only assume he wants a gate drop. You never want to go in cold turkey, especially into the playoffs. And it's long overdue, but I'm glad we're getting Max back. The sport is always better when the top guys are in it, but man is it a meat grinder. And then we got a contest going down at Budds Creek on Friday, calling all gamers to the MX Bikes National. My good friends at Race Rig Rescue are holding a privateer purse for MX Bikes. Fastest lap time on the Budds Creek track in MX Bikes wins $700 cash. And this will be going down on Friday because Saturday, that's race day, so Friday we're getting virtual. And privateers are eligible for the cash, and as far as everybody else goes, I believe the fastest lap time overall will win a mini split. And this is all courtesy from my boys at Race Rig Rescue. Anything from mobile RV HVAC to electrical troubleshooting, generator service, and more stuff at the track. They'll get you dialed in, and they're giving back to the sport. Go check them out on social media and on Vendor Row at Budds Creek. You got no choice. And with one round to go, we got some battles for the top 20 in the Super Motocross World Championship playoff points. And in the 250 class, at the top, it's boring. Deegan's already putting points on the board for 2026. But in both classes, the battle for top 20 is as hot as ever. And in the 250s, the man on the move is Lux Turner. He had an awesome day at Unadilla, and he's pulled himself to within 12 points of Dylan Schwartz. But Schwartz has been putting points on the board every weekend as well. But then in 18th and 19th, you have RJ Hampshire and Cole Davies at 173 and 171. And RJ's racing the 4 Fatty, no points for him. But Cole Davies returned at Unadilla for the purpose of getting some SMX points. And he struck out 0 points, so if he has another day like that, and Lux Turner has a great day, then we could see Lux Turner overhaul Cole Davies for the top 20 in the playoffs. And then in the 450s, Jay Coop has it sealed up at the top with Jet somehow into second already after missing most of the Supercross season. Webb and Sexton are still 3 and 4 while attending the Injury National, but the battle for the top 20 has been absolutely insane. 19th is Mitchell Harrison at 182, then only 3 points further back is Valentin Guillot in 20th, 8 points behind Guillot in 21st is Cody Schock, and then 22nd is Hari Kulas. He was in this mix, but he's unfortunately fallen out the tail end of the pack. And at the moment, it kind of looks like between Harrison, Guillot, and Schock that only 2 of them can make it through. But just ahead of them is Justin Hill, who's only at 194 points. Harrison and Guillot are easily within range to pass Hill depending on how their rides at Budds Creek go. But on the outside looking in, Cody Schock in 21st place needs to gain 24 points or more on Justin Hill in order to pass him and get into the top 20. So Schock needs at least a 10-10 on the day, and we're headed to Budds Creek, his best track on the circuit, and I think this one's going to go down to the final laps of Moto 2. Stay tuned. And last but not least, if you made it this far, we'll get into our track preview and our predictions for Budds Creek, the final round of Pro Motocross. And this place is very unique, very technical, a lot of off-cambers, steep hills, and a lot of tight sections. And we got some GoPro footy from my failed attempt at qualifying on the 2-stroke in 2023. Let's get into it. To start the lap, you got a finish line tabletop, nice little floater, and then you land and hold your WFO through about 6 or 9 ruts, drop into this little pit, and then single out into this right-handed sweeper, which I apparently attended the neutral national in, but wide open up this hill. This is the year where Jet Lawrence has his own step up right here. You can almost see the origins of the bump he used. But super steep downside into a very tight left, a little pop double into a right-handed off camber, way steeper than it looks. This section is a pain in the ass. but a bunch of tight switchbacks, one more left-handed 180, and then you launch down the hill, a super blind float or triple, gets super rough at the bottom, and then you got an option sweeper, either inside over the single or outside and rail it, another floater tabletop right in front of the fans into a tight right-hander. Then you got a small little pop step up, which can get pretty technical with ruts leading from the corner up the face, and then a turning triple as you sweep up the hill, super tricky, into a tight left-hander with a little single on the way out, and then straight down this hill, super steep, into a very tight right-handed off-camber at the bottom, another steep one on the way back up, and about a 5-foot step up that I almost cross-rutted to my death on. One more tight left-hander with a steep single on the way out, and then get through the gears on the way down the hill, ruts everywhere, bumps everywhere, and not a smooth line in sight. Right-hander at the bottom, either go tight or rail around the outside and squeeze all you can out of the unit, because then you got big gulp, super big triple step up, almost had to call my lawyer, but then another single with a super steep backside, kind of a theme at Budds Creek, and then a 90 left into a little scrub tabletop. Ruts everywhere back here, pick one and you're in it for 3 to 5 business days into the world famous Henry Hill. Get on the brakes and scrub a dub, or if you're Doug, grab a handful and land in the crowd. But at the bottom of the hill, another inside single, outside no single, just keeping the options open, a little pop step up into a pit full of ruts, a tight left, and then you continue to turn over this little single and then jump down the hill, right-handed downhill off-camber sweeper. You're always turning or on and off camber at this place, but then get through the gears again, past the mechanics area, and then you got a fun little step up on the way out of turn 1. And then right before the finish line, one of the toughest sections on the track and of the series, the turning rollers. As you can see, I went through there like Biden and a damn spelling bee, but out of the rollers, into the pit, and back over the finish line, and that's a lap at Budds Creek. Can't believe the series is already about to be over, but what better place to cap it off than Budds Creek, and we're even getting lucky. We're going to have an unseasonably cool national. Usually Budds is a total armpit, but this year it's only supposed to be 80 degrees. And now for our final Pro Motocross predictions of the year, in the 250 class, I gotta switch it up. I've been picking Deegan almost every weekend, but I'm going Wasabi Joe. Deegan has the title to wrap up, Joe has looked really good, and I think Deegan might be a little preoccupied. I do think Deegan will get second overall. I think he wins Moto 1 and puts a stamp on the championship, and maybe Moto 2 he rides around at the Celebration National, or you never know, he could just stomp him. Not going out on much of a limb there, but he's looked really good and has some solid momentum as of late. And then in the 450s, continuing with not going out on a limb, for the win, I'm picking Jet Lawrence. It's his world, they're living in it, if they can keep up. Budds is a really technical track that will greatly suit Jet Lawrence's style. And then for the second spot, I'm actually going to go with Jorge Prado. Yeah, just kidding, I'm picking Hunta. And then in third, I'm going ET3, Eli Tomac, same podium as Unadilla, and the same podium that we've seen a few times this season. I'm sorry, not really getting creative here, but that's just kind of what I think is going to happen. But that's all I got for you guys this week. As always, let me know what you guys thought of the video, if you agree with my takes, if you disagree, if you think I'm a cooked unit, if you hated the video, whatever you want to say, throw it our way, it'll be okay. And thank you guys again for watching. Catch you guys next time.